Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove, found in the redwood forests of California, is pretty popular at this point. The place holds meetings with the wealthy and powerful, like presidents and celebrities, artists and stuff like that. And they perform some weird ritual things. YouTubers have snuck in there, giving us a good look at what the place looks like, but the most notable person to take a visit was Alex Jones.
Bunch of cowards! Excuse me.
Sneaking in with a cameraman and taking this photo, as you can see, very spooky.
I'm so fucking scared right now, you shut.
These people in robes and masks around a fire. There's a big owl statue. This owl is supposedly what they worship, doing some weird burning ritual when they burn a coffin in front of the owl, and it represents like forgetting or letting go of the past. It's quite confusing. But the statue isn't the only owl, as you can go onto the CIA website and find the Bohemian Grove and other retreats. It's a weird read, like out of the shadows on one of the hillsides near the dining circle, there come the low, sad sounds of a funeral dirge. As you turn your head in its direction, you faintly see the outlines of men dressed in pointed red hoods and red flowing robes. That's from the 13th page of the document, and it's just one example of the many weird things explained, and there's 126 pages of it. Jesus. The Skull and Bones Society, also known as Order 322 or the Brotherhood of Death, it's kind of gay, is an underground senior secret society at Yale University. Yale has a few of these societies, known as the Big Three. Skull and Bones is one of them. There's also Scroll and Key and Wolf's Head Society. But members of the Skull and Bones Society are known as Bonesmen. A few former presidents and other politicians have been members of this, and it was founded in 1832 after Yale students debated about other secret societies at the time during that season's Phi Beta Kappa Awards.
I, Sun Michaud, can, in a fistfight, defeat a great white shark.
Like many of these, they like to keep most details behind closed doors, but sometimes alleged details do get out, like the supposed initiation ritual.
You see, President Bush was in a secret society at Yale called the Skull and Bones. His dad was too, and they all worship Satan.
President Bush worships Satan?
In my personal opinion, absolutely. And one of the Skull and Bones initiation rituals is that to get in, you have to lie naked in a coffin and masturbate in front of the older members. But the really messed up thing is that since former President Bush, Bush Sr., was also a member, he requested to be there to watch his son's initiation. So he watched his own son masturbate. President Bush masturbated in front of his dad. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
But as far as secret societies go, this one isn't that secret. Same with the Illuminati. The Wikipedia page is longer than you'd think. But as interesting as these sound, if joining means you have to masturbate in front of your family, I don't want to join. You can say these societies have power, mainly manipulation and other sort of espionage type tactics, like rigging votes. But there are other organizations like the Black Hand who are very powerful in different ways. Also called Unification or Death. These guys' main goal, as we know, was to unite the South Slavic regions in the Balkan Peninsula. But they also did some other things. It's arguable without these guys, World War I probably wouldn't have happened, and if it did, it would have started out very differently. The Black Hand as a Serbian military society formed in 1911 by officers in the army of the Kingdom of Serbia. They eventually got into connection with Young Bosnia, a young movement that ended up being the actual assassins of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, starting the First World War. The Black Hand pretty much gave them the essentials and helped train and assist in fights. But to join the Black Hand, instead of, this just normally involves saying an oath and swearing to serve and swearing your allegiance with the organization. But these guys definitely aren't good, if you couldn't tell. Assisting in multiple assassinations, a lot of conspiring, plotting and committing terrorist acts, and ultimately rebelling against Austro-Hungarian rule in less than conventional ways. But these groups are pretty old, all starting over 100 years ago. But what about modern ones? Wait, what years count as modern years? What the fuck? The Carbonari, which were active in Italy from 1800 to 1831, which is modern apparently, were a secret revolutionary group that didn't do too much until 1820, when the uprisings started during the French occupation. These guys are extremely good at organising shit. So much so that most of the South and Western Europe wouldn't be as they are today, which I don't know if that's good or bad. They fought a lot during these uprisings, killed a few hundred, but over the decade they slowly either got picked off or captured. And by 1831, activity from them had eventually stopped altogether. The lore behind them is insanely complicated. Goes back to the 1790s with Napoleon and all of his shenanigans. And there's also more Italian names than I care to pronounce, and they're very political, so that's just, it's another thing. Aurora Society was a small secret society based in Finland. They focused on poetry, statistical stuff, and development of the Finland language, or the Finnish language, finished, and their culture. They operated from 1770 to 1779, and not much interesting at all, but I just wanted to add this so it's a bit more diverse. The Leopard Society was a society shrouded in secrecy. They operated in the West and Central African regions between 1890 and 1935, and didn't do good things. Dressing up in leopard skin, they would stalk innocent victims and attack them, similar to how a leopard would, but the people they killed would be eaten in a cannibalistic ritual. You can probably tell they were highly spiritualistic, believing that eating humans in this way gave them supernatural powers. But since they had no real writings, just a few paintings on cave walls, there's not entirely much to go off apart from the stories and, Le Cercle was quite secret up until more recently. Founded in 1952 by French intelligence, it was a group of select Italian politicians and government officials that were to attend a certain meeting 3 times a year. By 1970, they had expanded the select group, getting others from other countries around the world to attend. They also cut down on the meetings to twice a year. Le Cercle was heavily involved in the Cold War, performing different types of espionage against their enemies. But in the late 2000s, the British had took full control of the meetings from the Italians, with ex-MI6 agents leading the charge. Absolute colonists. The School of the Night, also called the School of Atheism, was a group of people around 1592, which is still modern, don't forget that. This group included Sir Walter Raleigh, and a handful of other atheists that formed this group in secret to study philosophy, science, and mainly question religion orthodoxy without being hassled by all the people shoving religion down their throats. Now, I'm not saying that to be rude, but in the 1500s, atheism was a massive crime. So much so that it was the equivalent to treason. The current monarchs of England at this time were really super strict about most things. Although this group is only alleged to exist, there's a fair bit of evidence from writings from different members of the group that do match up. But Sir Walter Raleigh did end up in prison for treason, and pretty much for being an atheist and opposition to the current monarchs of England. Honestly, I'm sure there is so much more out there and more interesting secret organizations and societies, but they're probably too secret right now to find out about. Thanks for watching.
Who are you?